Hello friends, and welcome back to another video. If you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Michelle. I'm a frugal foodie on a budget. I enjoy making good eats for as little money as possible. Today, I'm exploring all the ways I've been able to save money on groceries. The extreme budget challenges have been my most popular videos. Unfortunately, I've heard from a lot of viewers that are struggling to make ends meet. I've had many requests for this type of video, and with the increase in inflation, I thought this video might be especially helpful right now. Some of these are fairly basic tips, and some are probably going to be a little controversial. I'll put those tips towards the end of the video. And now, without further delay, let's get right into it. Without a doubt, the best way to save money on groceries is to make a budget. Not only does this step give you control over your monthly spending, but it requires that you plan your meals in advance, which is going to make your weeknights so much easier because you'll already know what you're making for dinner. I always start with the amount of money I plan to spend for the week. Some people might prefer to plan 2 weeks at a time, and others would plan for the entire month. But if you're just starting out, I do suggest tackling 1 week at a time. I'll get more into the why of this later in the video. For my weekly budgets, I like to use an Excel spreadsheet. This was the spreadsheet I used for my $5 a week video. You can see the items on the left-hand side and the total budget at the bottom. And the only thing I've done here was program it to add up the ingredients in the column and provide the total at the bottom. I do like using this because I already have the Excel software, so I'm not paying extra. And also, I like that I can see everything on my list. If I substitute out one item, or maybe I find the item on sale, I can insert the new sale price and immediately see how it impacts the overall budget. If you don't have this software, you can obtain the full Microsoft Office suite that includes Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and OneNote for $6.99 a month. There are lots of other budgeting tools available, including this AnyList app that I've used before and is available as a free download. The list portion is what is free. However, if you want the functionality of the budget portion that automatically adds up the total of your items on the list, it's going to cost you an additional $10 per year. There are lots of other budget planning apps available in the App Store, and many of them have great reviews. If any of you know of any free budgeting software, please let me know so we can share it here on the channel. One of my viewers works for the You Need a Budget podcast, and they have budgeting software as well as an app that is highly rated. I'm not sure if you can do an item-by-item budgeting on the grocery list, but it is definitely something worth checking out. For me, I'm a very visual person, so I like being able to see everything together, including the budget and the menu in one glance. It just helps me to stay more organized. If you have a trick or a comment that might be helpful to others, please do leave a comment down below. My second tip to save money on groceries is to plan budget-friendly dishes. This includes things like soups, rice dishes, pasta dishes, casseroles, chili and enchiladas, just to name a few. Let's take pasta dishes for example. Pasta is an inexpensive meal ingredient that can be made a variety of ways. Here in the US, when someone says pasta, many of us think of Italian pasta, specifically spaghetti. But in many cultures like China, Japan, Thailand, and Korea, noodles are a main staple in the diet, and so delicious, low-budget noodle recipes have already been developed. I love including noodle recipes in my menus, and I plan to make a lot more in the future. One of the nice things about making either noodle or rice dishes are that you can simply insert a protein of your choice, and the protein isn't the main ingredient, so you can get by with making the protein source stretch a lot further. One of the worst things you can do when you're on a budget is to plan meals where protein is the main ingredient. For example, this is not going to be on your budget if you're trying to save money. Even something like chicken fajitas can be budget-friendly when you use lots of green and red peppers with onions along with beans as a topping. Not only is it budget-friendly, but it makes for a super easy and delicious weeknight meal. Chili is also a great meal that helps you stretch the meat further. It can be made in a variety of ways, either with ground turkey, hamburger, chicken. Basically, you can just use whatever's on sale that week. One of the most important aspects of planning a budget is being organized. One of the ways to make this task less daunting is to use a rotating menu like this one. After filling in a few of your family's favorite low-budget dishes, you begin to see how easy this menu can make your life. It's also an effective visual tool to use in order to stock up on sale items. Here's a dish I made when I challenged myself to eat for $1 a day and shows how inexpensive spaghetti can be. I love making spaghetti because it's so versatile. You can make it spaghetti carbonara, you can make spaghetti puttanesca, you can make spaghetti with meat sauce. If there's an ingredient that's too expensive, just try leaving it out of the dish. I know I just showed this in a recent video, but let's just take a look again at these delicious cheese enchiladas for only 74 cents per meal. Plan your menu around what's on sale. If you watch my channel, you know that I always plan my menu around the sales. This allows me to eat plenty of fresh foods along with regular pantry staples. I find many items on sale for up to 50% off their normal price. Consider this. If you ate only what you purchase on sale, you would automatically save yourself between 30 to 50% of your monthly grocery budget. Not just that, but it's going to ensure that you have plenty of variety in your menu and you're never going to get bored of what you're eating. One week, lemons were on sale and I decided to make a lemon spaghetti from the chef Giada De Laurentiis. It had been on my bucket list for some time. It was so delicious and inexpensive to make. I served it alongside Swiss chard that was also on sale and made a delectable garlic bread. After making it, I wish that I would have made it a long time ago. So sales are nice because it automatically makes you use ingredients that you might not already be using, and it helps you to have lots of variety in your diet, which is also healthy for you. Use your ingredients in several meals. This will help to cut costs and move you towards having zero food waste. A few months ago, one of my viewers told me that she never purchased food this way and how much she thought this was going to help with her food budget. It does take some organization, but here's an example of where I did this in a recent extreme budget video. I was trying to feed a family of 4 for a week and chicken breasts were on a great sale. By choosing meals that would make the chicken stretch further, I was able to provide meat for dinner for 4 weeknights. I made fajitas, Buddha bowls, white chicken chili, and chicken soup. This was a video where I ate for a week on $10. I used the tortillas, black beans, tomatoes, cilantro, and avocado in multiple dishes. In this clip, I'm making huevos rancheros. I used my scissors to cut the tortillas to size, and it made for a delicious and colorful breakfast. For dinner one night, I used the tortilla shells to make my own crispy tortilla bowls, where I used my ingredients again. This time, I discovered how much I like using brown rice in my tostada salad. I also learned that using spinach instead of lettuce is a tasty and nutritious alternative. For this video, I purchased a whole chicken that I was able to use for 4 meals. I made this beautiful chicken salad with fresh ingredients like avocado, cabbage, and carrots. Later, I used the same fresh ingredients to make a chicken Buddha bowl. If you're on a very strict budget, Buddha bowls should be in your rotation because they are so easy and delicious to make whatever's on sale goes in the bowl. Choose a protein, whether it's tofu, chicken, pork, turkey burger, it really doesn't matter. You can add whatever fresh herbs are on sale that week. Don't forget to use your favorite sauce. Sometimes I use Asian sauces, and other times I just use salsa. I love the versatility in these bowls, and I never get tired of them. I also love that this dish is great for vegans, vegetarians, and also those eating a gluten-free diet. Earlier, I said I made 4 chicken dishes from the whole chicken I purchased. The third meal I made was this chicken piccata recipe with capellini, which turned out to be one of the most delicious chicken dishes I've made of the year. By pounding out the chicken, it not only becomes tender, but also makes the chicken stretch further. The fourth meal I made was this honey garlic chicken that I served over rice. At the time, the chicken that I purchased was only $4 at Aldi, which was not quite a year ago today. The chicken would probably be about $6 to $7, but you could still create a low-budget week by utilizing all of the chicken in these types of dishes. My fifth tip to save money on groceries is to shop multiple stores. I always shop multiple stores for the best savings. I know exactly what I want to buy for the best value at each store. Sometimes I get the comment that I shouldn't be running all over town spending my gas shopping at multiple stores if I'm on a budget. The reality is that most of the stores I shop at are within a mile from where I live. I can also easily shop other stores while I'm out and about doing other things. If you drive a gas-powered vehicle, then the cost of gas is definitely a consideration in your budget. If you don't live near grocery stores, this might mean that you need to think outside the box a little for new ways to obtain your supplies, and we'll talk more about this later as we get into the controversial side of this video. I know not to purchase my produce at Walmart because it's going to be expensive. Which leads me to tip number 6. Shop ethnic stores when possible. Now, if you live in the country, you're probably not going to have a lot of access to ethnic stores, but if you're in a city in the United States, chances are there's an ethnic store right around your corner. I have to admit, even though I have a budget channel on YouTube, I do work full-time during the week, so I don't have a lot of time on the weekends to explore all of the stores in my area. I still have a lot on my bucket list, but for example, I'm showing you some footage here of the rice that we found on sale at H Mart recently, and it's made in the United States, but it's at an extreme discount at that store. I shop Wholesome Choice frequently for the best deals on produce. Now, I do believe that they have discounted produce because maybe it's not grade A or they have to get rid of it quickly, but I get some of my best deals there, and I'm okay with getting discounted fruit and vegetables, and I'm okay with that because I know that going in. So I'll be using my produce right away. My 7th tip to saving money on groceries is to have a well-stocked seasoning and spice cabinet. You're also going to want to have pantry staples such as bouillon, broth, flour, sugar, and vinegars. If you don't already have these items, it's probably because you've been eating a lot of processed foods. Those already have the spices and seasonings added, but unfortunately, they're frequently stripped of nutrition due to the process that extends their shelf life. I'll put a basic pantry staples list in the description box, but here are a few of my favorites. I use soy sauce a lot. I remember once one of my viewers said that she didn't think soy sauce was a low-budget food item. What? Soy sauce is an excellent condiment for low budgets. And when you can pick it up as cheap as $1.35 a bottle, that bottle is going to last you for months. It just makes sense. It's going to make your rice dishes and your vegetable dishes taste amazing. Not just that, but add a little sugar to the soy sauce and you can make a teriyaki glaze for your protein source, whether that be tofu, chicken, pork. If you're on an extreme budget, these powdered bouillons are an absolute necessity. You can use them to make soups, season chili, stir-fried rice, make gravy, season dumplings, and pot pies. The list just goes on and on. The bouillon comes in chicken flavored, beef, and vegetable bouillon, as well as chicken tomato bouillon, which is a gem that I recently discovered, and learned how to make sopa de fideo. I also found this at the 99-cent store for obviously just $1, but you know, you can buy these also in the big box retail stores, Costco, Sam's Club, for under $5 for a huge container. I don't remember the exact ounces on those, but the bottom line is they're everywhere. So if you want to just try them to get your feet wet, just pick them up here at the 99-cent store, and you can try it without investing a lot of money. Spices at Aldi and Walmart are currently about 95 cents. Some of the other spices were $1.49. I know for me, I use, you know, a small set of spices that I use on a weekly basis almost. But the point is, you can start by just doing a few and then pick up one every week when you're out. Because I know I have talked to some people and it seems like it's a little bit overwhelming to them. You know, the idea of stocking your pantry. So I like to think if you just do maybe 1 or 2 a week, then it's not, you know, such an impact. I'm definitely looking forward to adding new spices to my collection as I explore new ethnic foods on my channel. If you're not on an extreme budget, but a low budget, you might consider getting something like this Parmigiano Reggiano. My family loves this cheese. We eat a lot of pasta dishes, and it's the only expensive ingredient that we have, and we just use a dusting of it on the dish, and it makes all the difference in the world. It ends up lasting us like a good 4 to 6 months. This person is putting quite a bit of Parmesan on there, but I can't say enough how good this is. Even though it's a high priced item, it does help to extend the budget because again, we're using a lot of noodles and those are very low cost. My 8th tip to save money on groceries is to use an inexpensive protein source. I frequently use ground turkey from either Aldi or Walmart. I recently created a video where we came up with 3 delicious meals that each fed a family of 4 for only $3. All 3 meals included the ground turkey as well as rice. We created an easy 1-pot weeknight meal that consisted of ground turkey, eggs, rice, and vegetables. Our next dish was a play on the classic beef and peppers dish, but in our case we substituted the beef for the inexpensive ground turkey and served over a steamy bed of hot rice. The last dish was inspired by my son, who had recently made a bulgogi from the ground turkey that tasted absolutely divine, so I definitely wanted to share it here on my channel. When I look back over the year, I realized that some of the best things that I ate were dishes my son made me, like when he made this delicious vegetarian spaghetti that was so good. I'm happy to say he recently made his own YouTube channel. You can expect some budget-friendly recipes and lots of meat-focused entrees. If you'd like to check out his channel, it's Foodie Justin, and I'll put a link to his channel in the description. The price of meat is rising so rapidly that many of my viewers are now purchasing tofu as their main protein because they simply can't afford meat any longer. Not only is tofu less expensive, but it has 0 cholesterol and contains lots of vitamins and minerals such as calcium, iron, vitamin A, magnesium, and zinc. The fact that it has 0 cholesterol makes it a good food for anyone that has high blood pressure. Stir fries are another one of my favorite dishes for sticking to a low budget because I use whatever vegetables are on sale that week. For this meal, I used a stir-fry sauce that was on sale at Aldi, but sometimes I just use soy sauce and then drizzle with a little sesame oil after it's plated. I love making stir-fries not just because they're delicious and low budget, but also because they're perfect in my lunch the next day. My 9th tip to save money on groceries is to collect and organize low-budget recipes. That way, when you see items on sale, you can go to your recipe book and know exactly what you want to make. It may seem a little old-fashioned to use a recipe book, especially if you like to utilize a laptop. However, sometimes it's not a good idea to have a laptop in the kitchen. Don't ask me how I know this. If I'm searching for a recipe, I really like to go to all recipes and find the most popular one. I look at the pictures of the food first because I really like my food to look good. If I'm being honest, I almost didn't make this recipe because some of these biscuits didn't look that good, but the reviews for the recipe were stellar, so I decided to give it a shot. I didn't have all of the ingredients I needed, but I decided to substitute buttermilk for water and add a little extra butter. I'm so glad I did, because I agree with this reviewer right here that said these biscuits tasted just like KFC's biscuits. They were so good, and had I not been trying to eat for $5 a week, I would have never discovered this delicious recipe that never really needed buttermilk. My 10th tip to saving money on groceries is to stock up on sale items. Remember in the beginning of the video, we talked about having a weekly budget. I can't stress enough how important it is to allocate a portion of your weekly budget to stock up on non-perishable sale items. For example, if your weekly budget is $35, a good rule of thumb is to allocate 20% to stock up on sale items. But you can use any formula you want as long as you're taking advantage of those sales on a regular basis. As you may have seen earlier in the video, I love peanuts in my stir-fry, but I don't always use them because they're kind of expensive. I recently found these at Aldi for $1.69, so I decided now's the time to stock up. If you think you might eat ramen or use the noodles at all, I would definitely suggest stocking up right now. Recently, I was in Walmart and they wanted like $1 or something for just individual ramen packets, which I thought was crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and stock up on these, and I'll have them just in case. One day this week when I came home from work, there was a note on the front door from my son. It said, "Don't eat, I'll be back in 15 minutes. I'm making you a 45-cent dinner." He used the ramen noodles and made this delicious Asian garlic pepper noodle dish that was perfectly balanced with a little bit of lemon, green onions, and carrots. It was so delicious, and it was definitely a restaurant-worthy meal, and he made it for only 45 cents. I'm hoping he's going to make it for his channel. It was just that good. He also made it another night with a different kind of noodle that was an egg noodle that he purchased from H-Mart, which was very good as well. But it just gives you an idea of one of the many dishes you can make with these ramen noodles. One of my viewers said that she struggled to make ends meet and put food on the table, but every year when she would get her tax return, she would use that money and stock up, and it just helped her make it throughout the year and made such a huge difference. People budget for a variety of reasons. Some people just simply don't have enough money for food. Other people do have money for food, but they are saving for their 401k or their retirement. Lots of people are tightening their budgets in order to pay off their mortgages early. Maybe you just want to be able to afford to take your family on a vacation this year. Whatever it is that inspires you, it's important to track your budget and always reward yourself. This keeps you motivated to stick to the budget. I found that when I'm eating delicious food, it's easy to stick to my budget because it doesn't feel like I'm sacrificing anything. Buying in bulk can help lower the unit cost of items. Ethnic stores usually have bulk items like varieties of rice and beans, and those are great because you don't need a membership card like Costco or Sam's Club. I'm not going to talk too much about buying in bulk because I've already covered that on my channel, and if you'd like to know more about that, I'll link my Eating for $1 a Day video in the description where I look at the cost savings in more depth. I do want to talk about purchasing from either Sam's Club or Costco more, but this brings me to tip number 13. Using alternative ways to save money on food. Prices are going up so rapidly, it's hard to keep up. It's never been more important to save money on food, and that requires thinking outside the box. Honestly, I've been wanting to talk about this ever since Thanksgiving. I think I had worked over 50 hours that week at my job, and I had one day off, and I was so excited to get out my Thanksgiving decorations and set my table, but I still needed to go to the store to get all of the food. So my son had been trying to get me to order from Instacart for some time, and I thought to myself, wow, not only could I save the energy going out to the store, but I could also save all of that time, allowing me to be able to get started on my decorations. So I thought now was a good time to try it. There was an introductory offer, so my first order was free, but the delivery fees start at $3.99 in my area, plus you do have to tip, so you do need to take that into consideration. I ordered my food from Aldi, and it felt so luxurious and relaxing to know that my groceries would be delivered within a couple hours. The only problem is I did make one very crucial mistake. Apparently on every single item on the order, you also have to check a box that you don't want a substitution. I'm not sure how I missed it, but I did. So instead of walnuts, I got this nut mixture. And instead of jalapeno peppers, I got these poblano chili peppers. But despite these mistakes I made, I realized that this could be a viable alternative for some of my viewers. Many do not have vehicles. Some of my viewers live in the inner city and don't have access to grocery stores with fresh foods. If you're ordering food from a place like Aldi, it might make sense, and you might be able to make up the cost of the difference in the groceries from ordering from such an inexpensive store, whereas it covers, the cost to have it delivered. And I would venture to bet that in some cases, you might even be able to save money. They do have a special phone number for seniors if someone needs help figuring out the system, which I would definitely recommend, and that's probably what I should have done is called the customer service before I placed my first order. And another thing I want to say about Instacart is they do deliver from Costco or Sam's Club without it requiring that you have a membership card. So you could also get those savings passed on to you, which is a huge benefit without having to pay for the Sam's Club or Costco card membership. I would love to hear from some of you in particular about Instacart and whether or not you feel like it's been able to save you money on groceries, and if you've been shopping at Aldi or Sam's Club or Costco from there and how that's worked out for you. I also want to talk about shopping at Sam's Club or Costco. Not necessarily going in the store, but ordering from online. If you have a Sam's Club Plus membership, non-perishable items can be shipped to you for free, and they have a really great deal going on right now. If you purchase the membership for $100, you get $50 back to spend in the club. So it's basically a Plus membership for only $50, and you get all shipping for free. They also have the regular membership. Its cost is $45, but they're giving you a $45 off coupon, and that's basically free. I've seen a lot of these deals throughout this year, so I think they keep rotating them. Now, I chose to go with Sam's Club just because the items I wanted to purchase were less expensive than the Costco brand. I get a lot of my fruits and vegetables at a really good deal at the ethnic market. One of the things, though, about shopping at Sam's Club or Costco for the fresh fruits and vegetables are the prices are very good, and the fruit is going to last you a very long time. I recently purchased these ruby red grapefruit, and they are so delicious. I've been eating one of these a day for a snack in the evening when I just want something sweet, and it's so delicious and refreshing. I also picked up these tiny mandarin oranges for my family, and they were so good that I ended up going back and purchasing a few more bags of these because we're just loving them so much. They're so sweet and delicious, and you can only get them when they're in season. On this slide here, I'm looking at what the cost difference is if I order rice with a Sam's Club membership and have it shipped to my house. I still get an excellent price on the rice, which is about 63 cents per pound, which is less than purchasing in a regular store. So if you look at this and you start analyzing, not just rice, but toilet paper, all kinds of things, you realize that it does make sense if you want to have a membership to have things delivered to your house. Back when there were supply chain issues with toilet paper, I went ahead and renewed my membership just so that I could have toilet paper delivered to my house, and I never had to deal with any of, the problems with searching it out. And actually, I ended up saving enough money basically just on that to make up for my membership every year. So in conclusion, I do think it is economically wise to have certain items delivered. I'm kind of curious what you guys think about this. I did notice that they have started a new delivery service for the perishable items, which is separate from shipping. So there's shipping and then there's the delivery. The delivery is basically using a service like Uber One, which is a new service here in Orange County that just came out not that long ago, where they're delivering groceries just like they deliver food. The only thing there that I noticed is it does, again, sound luxurious, but you have to pay the tip as well as the fee. So that's something to consider. If you're getting a large amount of food, generally the tip is based on the total dollar amount ordered. For me, I wasn't sure that I want to do that at this point, just because I think it's more cost prohibitive, but I'm curious to know what you guys think. Any tips that you have. It's a new modern era, and now is the time for us to think of new ways to save money while also making our lives a little bit easier. If you are struggling to purchase food, there are many resources available. One of them are local food banks, and one program I rarely see mentioned is for low-income people 60 years of age and older. It's called the Commodity Supplemental Food Program, and it helps to deliver a box of nutritious food once a month and includes ingredients such as milk, juice, oatmeal, cereal, rice, pasta, peanut butter, beans, canned meat, poultry or fish, and canned fruits and vegetables. This box can mean the difference in someone on a fixed income being able to eat for the month. I'll put a link to this in the description of my video. That's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to head over to my son's channel, check him out, and I'll see you in the next video where we get back to the business of making delicious, low-budget meals.